The month of April is one of the most challenging times to find a good national park to visit. So today I want to talk you through my favorite options if you're hoping to visit a national park in April. My name is Ash. I'm a former park ranger and the founder of Dirt in My Shoes, and you will find me in the national parks during every month of the year. I absolutely am obsessed with them. So today I want to talk specifically about the month of April and which national parks are best to visit at that time. And the reason that I say that April can be really challenging, it's actually probably my least favorite month to try to find a national park to visit. And this is because a lot of the parks that are really nice to visit in the winter, when that's more of their main season, or there's at least some good activities to do during the winter months. Typically by April, they're starting to close down. It's starting to get too hot, or if it's a snowy park, they close down roads so they can start getting everything cleared for summer. And so a lot of those parks just really aren't a great option. But on the flip side, it's still pretty early in the season for any of the parks that are better in the summer. And so a lot of those big mountain parks, the ones with higher elevations and really good hiking trails and stuff like that, a lot of those aren't quite open for the summer yet. And so you'll encounter a ton of closures if you're trying to go in April. So it is a challenging time, but we definitely have some options. So today I want to share 6 of my favorite national parks to visit during the month of April. Now, first, you're going to want to go to dirtinmyshoes.com/month and sign up for my National Parks by the Month list. It has every month of the year and all the national parks that I think are the best to visit during that month. And so today I'm only talking about 6 for April, but as you can see, there are more than that in my list. And so you'll want to check that out, sign up for this so that you can always have something to refer back to as you're trying to plan your trips. And just a disclaimer, these 6 parks that I'm talking about today are also great in some other months as well. They aren't just specific to you need to visit these ones in April. You can go in other times of the year too, but these are the ones that you'll find me in during the month of April. Okay, so we are focusing mostly in the middle of the country here for April. If you start planning trips down to these ones, kind of at the bottom of the country, April is about the time of year where, like Big Bend, for example, it's just getting really hot and uncomfortable by that point. These Florida ones, you're really getting into more of an off-season type experience in these. You can still get in there, but those aren't my favorite places to be that time of year. And then a lot of these ones up here in the mountains, specifically the Rocky Mountains, they're just too snowy in April. You won't be able to do much. So we're focusing kind of in the middle here. That's where you'll find your best options for an April trip. Park number 1 is Arches National Park in Utah. I love Arches National Park in the spring. It's really beautiful. The weather usually is pretty nice. Usually you're talking like 70s or so, which for me, I think is the perfect hiking weather. What I like about visiting Arches in April specifically is that you're not going so early that you're going to still encounter some winter conditions on the trails and stuff like that, but you're not going so late that you're going to start getting into like just the unbearable hot summer temperatures. Arches easily can get over 100 degrees during the summer. And I like April also specifically because it's still a quieter month in Arches. You're not quite into that peak season. May is very, very busy in Arches. And so April for me is kind of that sweet spot to get into Arches, to hike to Delicate Arch, to hike the Fiery Furnace, to hike back into Devil's Garden. All of those things you can do during the month of April. You have nice weather, fewer crowds. It's really a fantastic time to be there. So park number 2 then is Canyonlands National Park, which is right there next to Arches. And so a lot of times, I'm a Utah native, I'm in the Utah parks all the time, but if I'm going down to Arches in the month of April with my family, I'm also going to plan on adding in Canyonlands as well because they are super close together. So that makes it really nice. These two are my favorite Utah parks to visit at this time. The other Utah parks aren't quite as great in the month of April, in my opinion. And so I'll focus my time usually in the Moab area of Utah and hit both of those parks. Now, the one thing about going to Canyonlands this time of year is it is maybe a little bit chilly, especially in the Island in the Sky district, because it is a higher elevation than Arches National Park. And so you may encounter a little bit more snow on the trails. Freak storms come through sometimes and we'll dump some snow at that time of year. But while you're already at Arches, you might as well go to Canyonlands. It's really, really cool, even if it's a little on the chilly side. If you're wanting to spend more time in Canyonlands, which I highly, highly recommend, the Needles area of Canyonlands, the Needles district down south, is typically really, really nice in April. You don't get as much snow in that area. It's at a lower elevation. It's not quite as cold. And there's some fantastic hiking trails in there. Druid Arch, the Chesler Park Loop, any of that is usually really, really great during the month of April. Number 3 is Grand Canyon National Park, and specifically the south rim of the Grand Canyon, because the north rim is still closed in April. But I really love Grand Canyon during the spring and the fall. The summer can be very miserable with really hot temps, especially if you're a hiker and you're hoping to hike down into the canyon. It gets hotter the lower you go. And so if you plan your trip during the summer, those temperatures down at the bottom of the canyon can be like 110 plus. It's miserable. And so I find that April typically actually is really nice for the south rim of the Grand Canyon. One caveat at this, again, because you're in this transition time, April is a tricky month. At the Grand Canyon, a lot of times there will still be some snow or just some chillier temperatures up on the rim at this time of year. But again, as you hike down into the canyon, it's going to get a lot warmer. And so I personally am willing to put up with, you're like in the 50s, usually kind of lower 50s during the month of April. Sometimes it will get a little warmer than that up on the rim, which is, I think, really nice weather actually for driving around and seeing the views and enjoying what you can do on the rim. But then you get better hiking weather as you hike down into the canyon. So that's why I love the Grand Canyon during the month of April. Plus, fewer crowds, much fewer crowds in April than during the summer or the fall. So park number 4, then, while you're visiting the Grand Canyon, you can add this one on, and that is Petrified Forest National Park. Petrified Forest National Park is about 3 hours from the Grand Canyon, and it is a fabulous spring park. You will usually find me here during the spring months. The weather stays pretty mild. You can get out and do everything. You can hike. You can see all the beautiful colors in the petrified wood. You can follow Route 66. You can go into Holbrook, which is near Petrified Forest, and get a little Route 66 memorabilia. That's really fun. And in fact, the drive from Grand Canyon to Petrified Forest also has some cool things you can do. So I just think that this is the perfect one to add on and the perfect time of year to visit. I mentioned a few extra things you can do. So not only do you have Petrified Forest National Park, which is really cool, but I mentioned Holbrook, that's a Route 66 town. You can stand on a corner in Winslow, Arizona. That's on the way to Petrified Forest from Grand Canyon. You've got Walnut Canyon National Monument, which is near Flagstaff, which you'll drive past if you're driving from the Grand Canyon. That's a Native American site that you can explore that's really cool. You've got Sunset Crater National Monument, which is also right there near Flagstaff. Or you could also head a little bit further north and go into Page and go see Antelope Canyon and Horseshoe Bend. That area is really nice, typically in the month of April. You could also pop over to Monument Valley or Canyon de Chelly National Monument. So lots of really cool options. You can easily turn these 2 parks into a longer road trip and have plenty to see while you're in the area. Now, parks 5 and 6, we're going a little bit further east. We're going to try to get to some parks that are less muggy and buggy than they are during the summer. So I like visiting these ones in the spring. I think it's a great time to be there. You can still do a lot. You can still get to pretty much everything. They're parks that are pretty much open for most of the year. So park number 5 is Cuyahoga Valley in Ohio. This national park is more of an urban national park, and so it's sandwiched between the cities of Cleveland and Akron. And this park is really cool. There's some great biking trails, like on the towpath you can bike. There's a train, a steam engine train that you can take through the park. You can go hiking. My favorite trail is the Ledges. I love this trail. There's waterfalls. You definitely should stop and see Brandywine Falls. And waterfalls in the spring are fantastic. You've got a good water flow this time of year. And so these parks that are a little lower elevation, that maybe get a little bit more humid and buggy during the summer months, are perfect for visiting during the month of April. So then that brings me to park number 6, which is Gateway Arch National Park. This one is in St. Louis, Missouri. It, again, is another urban park. It's right in the city. And so you can come here year-round. They keep everything open. It just depends on when you want to find yourself in Missouri. But I find that springtime in this area is really nice. You can still ride the tram up to the top of the arch. You can still take the riverboat cruise if you want to. All of that stays open, but it's less crowded, less busy, less muggy and buggy. And so I really like Gateway Arch in April as well. All right, my friend, don't forget to sign up for my list of the national parks to visit by month at dirtinmyshoes.com/month. You'll find this sign up here, and I will send this entire list to your inbox. That way, you'll be able to see all of the great options that you have for the month of April and every other month of the year. So thank you for joining me today. I hope that you find the perfect national park to visit and go and get some dirt in your shoes.